My client, Peggy Janice, is a divorced 34-year-old single mother of two children, ages 10 and 12. Peggy is employed full-time, earning $28,000 annually with no other sources of income. Her ex-husband is disabled and does not pay alimony or child support. She has a negative net worth with minimal assets and maximal debts, and is self-confessed shopaholic. She doesn't have a car loan, but she puts nothing away for savings and doesn't have a retirement account. She lives day to day and paycheck to paycheck without concern for saving for the future. She has aspirations of owning her own home, obtaining a high-paying job, and developing a realistic budget to manage her income and help her feel more financially secure. Peggy has many strengths that work in her favor. She's employed full-time in a job that provides health benefits for herself and her children, and she contributes to her employer's mandatory pension plan. She has no car payment and has a low rent payment. She has a 403b retirement savings account and $50,000 in term life insurance. She's also motivated to earn more money and start budgeting. Getting started can often be the hardest part, but she has resources and the desire to get ahead, which will help her greatly. While she has many viable strengths, Peggy also has substantial weaknesses. She has a negative net worth, meaning her debts exceed her assets. Her annual income is barely enough to support 3 people. She owes $19,000 on her credit card that charges 19% interest. As a shopaholic, Peggy is spending any extra income rather than putting aside anything for savings. She doesn't have disability or renter's insurance. She has no will and no individual retirement account. In order to assist Peggy in setting her goals, as her financial counselor, I need to have a good understanding of where she is and where she wants to be. I know that she wants to develop a realistic budget, obtain a higher paying job, pay off debt and build savings, feel more financially secure, and own a home. These goals are all attainable. My first step would be building a relationship with Peggy by using motivational interviewing to explore her true attitudes about her finances. Motivational interviewing uses self-reflecting questions to strengthen a client's motivation and commitment to change. In Peggy's situation of being a compulsive shopper, while she has the desire to change, she might not know how or where to start. She has also undergone tremendous change already by divorcing her children's father. The thought of making another impactful life change could be overwhelming and scary. I would build trust with Peggy by showing empathy and letting her know that I understand what she's experiencing. As a divorced female myself, I know that the experience can do a number on your self-esteem. It can feel like your entire world is crashing down around you and you have no control over it. It is very possible that Peggy has emotional issues that have contributed to her financial situation. Low self-esteem, depression, and anxiety can all lead to compulsive shopping. I would recommend that, in addition to financial counseling, Peggy see a psychologist or some other kind of therapist to work through her emotional issues. In order to help fix her negative spending behavior, I would help Peggy identify differences between her behavior and her intended outcomes. She will need to see for herself that her compulsive shopping is not giving her what she really needs. She has the material things that she may want. She has filled a void or emotional need left by the divorce, but now she's drowning in credit card debt and has no savings. She's already aware that she has a spending problem, but it doesn't seem to have stopped her. Assessing her attitudes towards savings and debts, credit, spending habits, and financial values will help her to commit to getting her spending under control. Divorce can make you feel as though nothing is in your control. This could be a great way of giving herself that feeling of control again. Divorce can also lead to feelings of guilt that you somehow weren't enough, whether that means enough for your spouse or enough for your children. If she has feelings of guilt about the divorce and its effects on her children, she could be trying to buy them extra things in order to compensate for that guilt. Once we've established Peggy's why for changing her negative spending behavior, I'll help her create a plan that keeps her motivated in the right direction. First, she can do things like unsubscribe from retailer emails, limit her internet time, find other places to visit besides shops, find new hobbies or fun ways to spend time with her children. She could earn some extra income by cleaning out the closets and purging all the material things that they don't need or they don't use anymore. These are all attainable, realistic steps, which increase the likelihood that she'll be successful and therefore stick with it. Next, I would have her call her credit card company and ask them to lower her annual percentage rate. 19% is very high, and they will usually lower it to something more reasonable as long as you're making your payments. Paying off $19,000 at 19% APR would take her 5 years if she was paying $500 per month and would tack on $10,000 in interest. If they refuse to lower her APR, I would suggest she find a new card with a 0% balance transfer fee. Her transferred balance will carry a 0% interest rate for a certain time period, in which she will be able to make monthly payments to get the balance down. Paying $500 monthly at 0% interest would have the balance paid in 3 years, which is much better than 5. Even if the 0% rate is only good for 12 months, the balance will go down a lot quicker, giving Peggy the positive feedback and momentum she needs to keep working towards her goal of paying off the debt. Next, Peggy needs a budget. I would work with her to calculate her monthly cash flow. Her monthly income is $2,363, and of that amount, she spends $1,800. This includes rent, bills, utilities, and food. That leaves $563 extra that could be used for additional debt payments or to build her savings. She should start using a budgeting app or carrying around a small notebook to track every single penny she spends. Then she would need to look at this and see what expenses she can eliminate or cut back on. I would recommend that she start building her savings immediately. She needs to learn how to pay herself first. As soon as her paycheck is deposited, a set amount should be automatically transferred into a savings account. I would suggest a high-yield savings account. There are several options for online savings accounts, such as Ally, that yield as much as 2.2% interest. This way, her money isn't just sitting in a bank account. It will be accruing more and more interest with each new deposit. Seeing it grow will also provide positive reinforcement and needed motivation. Since one of Peggy's goals is a higher-paying job, I would next advise her to talk with her employer about opportunities to grow within the company. She could also ask for more hours or overtime if it doesn't interfere with her kids' schedule. Demonstrating her skills by going the extra mile in her work could also put her in line for a raise or promotion. She could also start seeking other job opportunities for which she's qualified, making sure that they offer the same health benefits and retirement program. Once Peggy has established a good habit of tracking her spending, budgeting her monthly expenses, and paying herself first, we can begin to look at her bigger goals. An important principle of an effective counseling relationship is having consistent and accurate feedback. When there is this kind of feedback, clients will become increasingly responsible for themselves. Peggy has large but attainable goals, and I think the consistent and positive feedback she receives from building her savings account, watching where her money's going, and paying down her debt will give her that sense of control that she needs and build her self-esteem. Feedback that she receives from me as her counselor should be constructive to help her measure whether her behavior is helping or hurting her attempts to reach her goals. Feedback should focus on the behavior rather than the person, and should also focus on immediate situations, not situations of the past. Peggy does not need to dwell on her past failures or how she got into this mess. She needs to recognize and own those behaviors, but most importantly, she needs to focus on reinforcing the new behaviors that are going to get her out of this mess and build the future that she wants for herself and her children. After taking these steps to right the ship, Peggy should be in a good place and right on track to reach her larger goals of owning a home and being financially secure. The damage to her finances didn't happen overnight and will take some time to be repaired, but with consistency and a greater confidence in herself, she can definitely reach her goals.